Good morning, friends. So, how do you feel about a nice fancy dessert? Easily keto-fiable. I'll bring it to you in just a minute. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Radical Geek channel. This morning, I'm going to put together a little dessert. We're not going to finish it right now. We'll have to come back to it later. But something that we often get in fancy restaurants is a Panna Cotta, and you pay a pretty penny for that, don't you? But did you know that you can do this at home really easy and with not a lot of effort, and it's easy to make keto? What I've got here is 1/3 cup of water, and I'm going to add in half a scoop of gelatin, well, a little bit more, about 6 grams. And I pour that right into the water. And what that's going to do is get some moisture into the gelatin, and this is a process called blooming. This has to sit for a few minutes. We'll get that off to the side. And what's going to happen is that this will get water into the gelatin, allow the gelatin granules to swell up. You see that on cooking shows all the time where they use cooking sheets. Excuse me, I just need to give this a little stir. They use the gelatin sheets. You can use this. I use granulated. I don't know the conversion for the gelatin sheets, but you don't need a ton. Like I said, half a scoop, because a full scoop is 10 grams. You can generally know that a full scoop, that 10 grams, will hard set gelatinize about 2 cups worth of liquid, and we're going for a soft, barely holding together gelatin set of our cream. So this is going to be sitting here for a little bit while it swells up, and in the meantime, we can start putting the rest of this together. I say it as if it's going to be complicated, and it's not. For such an elegant dessert that they like to charge a premium for, Panna Cotta is extremely easy. We're going rogue, and instead of a traditional cream-based one, we're going coconut because that's my preference. But absolutely, if you want to use heavy cream and then add your vanilla to it and sweeten it up, amazing. You would still use your vanilla, but I digress, and I've gotten all crazy. Let's get some focus with some coffee. So, my coffee's been really good lately. I don't know, man. We've gotten it down. So I have a can of full-fat coconut milk. You don't want the kind from the fridge in the box. And excuse me while I also get a little spatula, because you don't want to leave stuff behind in the can. So, but it is important that you have your cream fully incorporated. So, like sometimes the cans, the fat and the milk separate. If that's the case, you want to make sure that you get it well mixed so that it's one beverage. Anyways, this one was fine, but and there's a little bit of the liquid separation, and goodness me, what a disaster I am this morning. But that's all right. That's, you know, that's how you know we're real. So I'm going to just give this a little mix. I'm using my whisk. You don't have to use a whisk. A spoon is fine. I just like it because it gives me security about getting everything in. Now, I used 1 can because I don't want to make like 9 million little desserts. But you can use glass ramekins. You can use metal molds if you're going to go through the trouble of unmolding it. I'm just going to eat my little servings directly out. I have these little teeny adorable single-serve sauce takeout containers that are perfect. So I can throw that, and what happens is then I put my meals together, and as I have my meal, then I just take this with me, and I have all in one go, my main meal, and then my dessert, and all fantastic. The coconut milk is high in fat. The gelatin adds a nice protein to it, and so it's all good. Now at this point, here's where you have the decision to make though. Sweetener. If you would like to sweeten this, and a lot of people, like I would say majority of people, are going to want to add some sweetener. Because you're going to warm this to dissolve the gelatin, you should not use a granular sweetener. Make sure that you use a confectioner's version of your sweetener, because the granular versions don't melt. So they'll crystallize and make your panna cotta gritty. You don't want that. So make sure you use the confectioner's version. Allulose is less sweet than your erythritol blend. Lately, my favorite sweetener that in a solid form is the Bestie, which is allulose and monk fruit, and it's delightful and it's good to go. So there's one. But also for me, the coconut milk is plenty sweet. The other, and in my opinion, the best option would be a couple drops of a liquid extract sweetener, monk fruit, sucralose if that's your jam, whatever you desire. But this is good for me. I've really gotten away from the high sweet lately. I don't know. But what I'm also going to add now, as soon as I find my teaspoon, well, there it is, right on top, is vanilla extract. It really adds some depth and dimension. And in this case, this is actually the vanilla paste by Bluegrass Girl, a lovely person in Louisville. And I think that once this video posts, I'll put the link to her so that you can purchase her homemade vanilla paste. It's really, really nice. So I will go ahead and make sure that we share that out, because honestly, it's just heaven in this little bottle. So I'm going to mix that paste in. Get everything cleaned up and put away, because that's what you do. If you clean up while you cook, it makes it easier at the end. And I just give that a mix to make sure my vanilla is all incorporated. And you might be like, but Maitreya, you've got something on your little stove there. That's just water. You know what my favorite is, right? Using the double boiler. You can absolutely just do this right in the pan, but I knew if I did that, then you can't see it on the camera. So, I like the double boiler anyways. I feel that it gives me a better control of the heat. I can take stuff on and off easy. I can adjust the flame more or less. Panna cotta basically means cooked cream. So let me check my gelatin here. It's getting there. You can see it's getting, there's still some loose water, and it may be that I have quite a bit of water in here, but it's starting to thicken up and get gloppy, which is what you want. If you don't use enough water, it'll become solidified, but that's okay as well, as long as all of the gelatin is wet. You don't want any dry parts of the gelatin. Sorry, you're going to get that because it's early. I got to go to work soon. And I was like, nope, we're making dessert. Work. So anyways, I'm going to put this on the heat to start warming it up. So panna cotta means cooked cream. It's an Italian dessert. Started appearing in the 1960s. Now here's your plot twist. As you know, I love doing things like kind of like in little related sets, so we get a good immersion. So the fun part of bringing this panna cotta to you, and by the way, we don't want it to boil. We just want it to get nicely warmed. So I'm just going to keep an eye. We're going to watch for the steam to start coming out and for the coconut cream to be real nice. And by then, our gelatin will be bloomed, and we'll be able to melt that in. Where was I? Oh, so I like to do things. And on our live stream recently, we made chicken paprikash. And then in a couple weeks, we're going to be making porpolt, another Hungarian dish, immersive in that. And that's the plot twist on panna cotta. It's a classic Italian dish, and by all means, that's pretty normal. But there's a lot of unverified little myths and rumors, tips out there. And one of those is that actually the panna cotta was a creation that developed in Hungary. So there you go. Now we're all tying it together, right? So getting that region learning a little bit of history, and it does make sense to me because in Hungary, back in the early 1800s, following into the middle 1900s, they did have some dairy problems, which led them to having a lot of those cultured cream products and needing to cook their stuff. So their dairy, like they didn't have a good refrigeration, there were shortages, all of that stuff. So it makes sense to me that they might have had that. And of course, there was a lot of battles, wars, travels from different regions where food culture sort of evolved and traveled. So I can see now, unverified, it means that it's just a story. So who knows? Could be true, might be made up, but I thought it was fun to share anyways. So this is starting to warm up, and I can see like it's getting a little bit thinner because the fat is melting. That's a good thing. You really want that. But it's just lovely. So let's give this gelatin a try. And now, instead of having water and then gelatin swelling up, you can see now my gelatin is all sort of one with the water. I don't know. It makes it sound kind of woo, doesn't it? But that's what we're doing. Just keep mixing it. The nice thing is that there's no eggs in here, so you're not worrying like the holidays where you got to make sure you don't scramble it or anything like that. But we're good to go. So I'm going to give this a little temperature test. My little spoon here. Oh, that's a fork. Can't taste liquids with forks. It's very nice and coconutty, but it's still sort of room temperature. So I'm going to bump my heat up a little bit to get it going because I'm impatient. Now, when I say cooked cream, we don't want it to come to a boil. We just want it to be good and hot. That's something that I see a lot of recipes when they're doing it, especially with the heavy cream. They're like, bring your milk to a boil because that's the only way you'll dissolve gelatin. You don't gotta boil it. That's how you're gonna overflow and create burnt milk. So don't do that. And I did mention to you, that yeah, we have to bloom the gelatin. That's what's gonna make it dissolve. If you just put the powder right into this mix, what's gonna happen is that it's going to seize up, and then you're gonna get hard little balls of gelatin that are very unpleasant, and your liquid won't necessarily set up proper. Whew, that's a lot of talking. I kind of have to waste a lot of time here. So what I'm looking forward to is seeing some comments. Like, have you gone to restaurants before you had to change your food plan? Actually, if you eat sugar, just so you know, part of the sweetener you can put in here would just be plain old sugar. That's up to you. But because I follow ketogenic food plan, and most of my subscribers, I believe, are also following some variant of a low carb, ketogenic, more Mediterranean, or carnivore, and on down that line. A lot of ketovore friends. I think that probably we're good with assuming sugar-free. So, but just in case you didn't know, I thought I would throw that out there. It's getting there. And my gelatin is looking lovely. Basically, what I've got here is come up to about 2 cups. So we're in good shape. We want that soft set, so the 6 grams of gelatin. I'm going to keep repeating that so that you don't forget. And also waste time while we're chatting. So, what was I? There was something else I was going to share with you guys as well. But, I don't remember what it was. It's gone. So be it. It's a Monday. That's what happens. So, fiddle-dee-dee, just such is life. I give it another temperature test here with my little spoon. Almost. So, and remember that when you're cooking, no double dipping. because what if someone else is eating it? You don't want to pass off your germy germs. So that's why we create a little pile. That's why dishes are washable. No worries there. So, anyways, I'm curious. How do you guys feel about desserts in general? I think that for me, I like finding desserts that are supportive of my journey. I like that I have worked my way where I don't have like big cravings for things that are outside the realm. But I do think that it's nice for me to have something like this, just a little finish to my meal. But I don't find myself like being like, man, I miss the days of hoovering down a box of Oreos. I find what has happened over time is that while I don't have zero food issues, because they're there, my tastes have refined, and I'm finding that there are things that are more indulgent for me that tend to bring a bit more pleasure. And I'm far more interested in the experience of something like enjoying a panna cotta. Whereas if in the past, before I had changed my health journey, we might have gone to a fancy restaurant and then we might have ordered something like a panna cotta, and it would be, the teeny tiny dish just like this, which is like maybe a quarter cup. And I would be dissatisfied. Not only would it not have been sweet enough to make me happy, but it would have been a very teeny portion. And even though we would have had our ginormous primary meal, I would have been like, thanks for, the expensive nothing. And instead now, I'm able to appreciate the dish. I appreciate the texture. I take my time finishing my food, because I can taste it more. I know that sounds crazy, and I don't know if that's because I have a more adequate salt intake, or if it's because I have fewer changes because it's been many years since I've had any cancer treatments or what, but I'm just saying I'm enjoying my life and my desserts in a much more reasonable fashion now. But I think that for me, I find it very disconcerting when people are like, absolutely not. You can never have XYZ again. You can never have desserts because that's bad. I think it's far more reasonable to be like, this is a lifelong health journey. And instead, what I want is a high quality dessert sometimes. And I don't think that I'm alone in feeling that way. Okay, this is getting really nice. One more check, because I believe I am ready to start integrating our gelatin. I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you feel about that? Like, I really hate seeing the negativity coming from people when they're like, well, you're just using these as a crutch and you're not being true keto if you have desserts. And I'm like, there's 9 million keto desserts out there for a reason. But I can also see how it's very easy to get caught up going overboard the other way. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is bump this up just a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and start incorporating my gelatin. You'll see that this is definitely like a thicker fluid now. And we're just going to start mixing it in a little bit at a time so it has chance, so it doesn't splash everywhere for starters, but also that we can get it in here and get it good and incorporated and melted. What I want to see as I do my whisk, that's the other reason for the whisk, is that I go through that it has melted and that I don't have any little globules, which shouldn't occur, but you know what, there's always that chance. And because this is cold, you want to make sure that you are getting it fully incorporated. And that's only because, I don't know, because you don't want little hard, gross gelatin bits. All right, so here we go. It's happening. And while you can't really see it, I want you to know that it is getting like a little bit foamy on top from the stirring, the whisking, and the heating. And that's fantastic. We want that. It's the same thing too. If you have cream, you don't want to make it whipped cream, but you are going to see like those bubbles from heating up. Oh, sorry. Oops. Probably shouldn't just drop glass into the sink, but lucky for me, it's okay. So here we are. One last little bit of some whisking and stirring. And what I can do now is give this one last check. Make sure I'm not seeing any lumps or granules. It's looking delightful and smooth. And even though we talked here the whole time, you guys, did you notice that this was not like a difficult thing to do, right? It's a little hot. Maybe I'm going to take my little whisk out now and take these up, use my little heating pads or my anti-burning devices stuck on my watch to lift this off. As we're taking it off the heat now, let me just clean up a little bit. Well, not clean up, but at least get stuff out of the way here. So we do not need my little stove anymore. Just set it aside, and there we go. So if you wanted, you could actually just pop the lid on this and throw it in the fridge now. But like I said, I'm making some individual servings, and so I'm just going to take this with my spoon, and we will put it right into my little dish. I know this is like the not very exciting part, watching me scoop it in here, but it's necessary. I mean, you got it. Well, I guess it's not necessary, but for me it is. And I'm just going to make sure I put this into here. I will cover them up with the little lids and throw them in the fridge. They will sit in the fridge until about 4 or 5 o'clock tonight. I'll give them a check, and yeah. So what we'll do is I'll be showing you the end result. And get as much in there. I kind of always try to make them the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're right on target with 8 servings. So here we go. I don't know, you don't necessarily have to wait to like watch me scoop in here, but because after this all we do is put the lid on and put them in the fridge. So there's our keto panna cotta. Coconut, like I said, and of course traditional panna cotta is heavy cream, but I went the coconut route. So not usually, I don't think any vegan subscribers, but just so you know, if you're vegan, this is not a vegan dish, but you could get agar-agar and use that instead of the gelatin. I don't have the ratios on that, but that is something that you could do. I will also tell you that this same recipe, if I just doubled the amount of gelatin, I would be setting this, and then the next thing I would be doing is making coffee gelatin to layer on top of this after it has set. That is a very nice Asian dessert, and it is absolutely one of my favorites. And here we go. This is what your Ketofied panna cotta looks like. So I hope that you have enjoyed this recipe, and once it has set, I look forward to sharing it with you. So I will see you guys a little bit later. And I'm sorry, because I don't have the hang of this StreamYard yet that I'm using, so we'll get there. You guys, I hope you have a great one. Bye-bye. Well, welcome back, friends. So I now have my fully set panna cotta. It is soft and delightful. Like I said, we want it to be nice and creamy, not fully gelatinized. So enough to hold together, but not enough so that it's like a solid brick. Let me bring this up and show to you. And then we'll dig in here so you can see the nice soft custardy look. And that is our delightful Ketofied panna cotta. So we can be fancy at home and enjoy a really nice delightfulness at the end of our meal. Oh, so smooth. So I hope that you are having an amazing time. And like I said, I'm just experimenting. Gonna have to work on the camera and how it works, but I will keep doing that for you. And hopefully we'll get everything all situated. I am looking forward to seeing you later in the week with some things that I have to share with you. And again, on our Sunday night coffee talk, we're going to make a special recipe, a fun mishmash of American and Indian and some other cultures all mashed into some fun little fast food. We're going to make some chicken nuggets. So I hope to see you there. You have a fantastic day. I appreciate you so much. Bye-bye.